Hello and welcome to Varsity Sports Live. I'm Kelly Stewart, filling in for Tom Neiman today, but joined by Jason Andera, who might put the team on his back for this show.
You know what, Kelly? You have done this before, and you're going to bring it for this show, just like the high school teams are starting to bring it now that we're approaching October. Just 1 month left to play, and teams are starting to get into that mid-season groove. And some teams are really starting to pull away. It was a fun night of high school football.
Yeah, they are. I mean, even before the show, we're like, oh, I just feel good vibes about this show tonight. Some great games going on across the Dakotas, and we have a variety of highlights. So let's take a look at the scoreboard today. First of all, Sioux Falls, Washington, and Brookings. We had that live on Midco SN, 51-0.
By the way, that score was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter.
It was.
31 points in the second quarter for the Warriors.
And then looking at the battle on 41st Street, Sioux Falls Roosevelt at Sioux Falls O'Gorman. That one came down to the wire.
I thought that game was over like 3 times, and right at the end of the game, O'Gorman recovered a onside kick, but the Roosevelt Rough Riders get a big rivalry win.
It's a big one. All right, looking at some more scores. Brandon Valley on the west side of the state at Rapid City Stevens, 30-14. The Lynx come away with that win.
Braden Peterson show. We'll see that later.
And then Watertown and Harrisburg. Harrisburg without Hunter Headley had the collarbone injury, but they defeat Watertown 31-17.
Yeah, they were down 14-0 early. Great comeback for the Tigers. We will have highlights of that one coming up later too.
Aberdeen Central and Rapid City Central, a 16-6 win for the Golden Eagles. And then Sioux Falls Lincoln gets their first win, Jandy.
How about that?
Your alma mater.
You know, a lot of people talking about Lincoln. Are they going to get a win this year? They played tough tonight. Jesse Nelson put his team on the back. We've got highlights of that one coming up as well.
Coach Fredenberg's first win. Very exciting for him. Mitchell and Huron. This one was almost a shutout, but then Huron came in a little bit later. But 33-12, Mitchell wins that one.
Keel Nelson ran 2 touchdowns in to get things started. Drew Kitchens added 2 more. Big night for the Colonels.
Looking at some more scores. St. Thomas More and Douglas. Now this one was a lot closer than the score might show, but St. Thomas More kind of put the nail in the coffin at the end, the 24-13 win. And then
yeah, that's a big cross-class clash, I guess, if you want to say it. Douglas getting tested by a good 11A team, and St. Thomas More comes out with the win.
And then Dakota Valley 43-16 rolls over Vermilion.
No problem there.
No problem. Lennox and Madison. Oh my gosh, the Yankees combined for 6 touchdowns in this one. Jackson 3 through the air, and then Jaden 1 on the ground and 2 through the air. But Madison rolls over Lennox 51-21.
They should stay at number 1, but look at in 11A, a couple of ranked teams, Dell Rapids and T. We'll have highlights of this one to figure out how those Warriors have won their 5th game in a row.
That's impressive. And then Arlington, Lake Preston, and Castlewood, a close one.
Come back late for Castlewood, another team that keeps their record undefeated. Both those teams undefeated coming into the day, and both look like contenders in 9-man football.
Looking to Sioux Valley against McCook Central Montrose, 34-7. I rolled over McCook Central there. Our next game, Warner and Bonham. This was an impressive one, 18-12. That touchdown was scored by Warner with 30 seconds left, and they went for the 2-point conversion and got it to kind of seal it, but impressive.
Amazing. That's 2 losses in a row now for Bonham, but still, everybody knows they're going to be a team to contend with late in 9-man football.
All right, and then Sully Buttes and Bonham, 38-12.
And that's another one. We had a couple of ranked teams go at it, or North Border's close to being a ranked team. Sully Buttes came out and played an impressive game. I think they're a team in 9B to talk about. I thought North Border might have what it takes to make a run into the playoffs, but after seeing what Sully Buttes can do, I think 9B is wide open. Even Colomb in 9B this week had trouble in their win, but they found a way to get the win. And so now we've got Coleman Egan, and you've got a lot of good teams in 9B right now contending for that last spot. It's going to be fun to see. But we had a lot of ranked matchups in South Dakota today, including Dell Rapids getting a win over a higher ranked team. Stevens challenging Brandon Valley, didn't quite get it done. Roosevelt getting a win over a higher ranked team. So this is the time of the year when we start learning a lot.
And I think I picked Roosevelt in that matchup.
I think you made a few good picks tonight.
Oh, wow.
Hate to talk to Jody, too, because you usually get him on 1 or 2. I think you got him on 1 or 2 tonight, but he got you on a big one.
He did.
Shanley and St. Mary's.
Oh, my gosh. I picked St. Mary's in that one, if I remember.
But let's keep looking at scores. West Fargo stays undefeated.
Oh, the Packers, a 42-7 stomping over Fargo rival, Fargo North. And then Fargo South and Grand Forks Central, a close one, 42-38 in favor of Fargo South.
Yeah, a little closer than people thought.
Looking at Grand Forks, Red River, and Fargo Davies, they get shut out 35-0.
Yeah, I think this Davies team is starting to pick up some steam, and then you see West Fargo Cheyenne, another good week for them. No problem with Dickinson.
Looking at some more scores in North Dakota, Bismarck over Williston, 43-2, an interesting score.
Get that safety. You know what? That counts.
Oh,
and yeah, Bismarck, no problem as we thought. And Legacy Mandan, two teams from the Bismarck area squaring off, and Legacy bounces back, finally gets a win. Mandan, I tell you what, that team has had more hard luck than any team in North Dakota in Class AAA this year.
Yikes. All right,
Shanley, the one that you picked wrong.
Dang it. By 3 points, but Shanley over St. Mary's 17-14.
We had a couple really big injuries in this game. I'm sure Jody will talk about that. Jake Cava and St. Mary's quarterback, Cole Gendrew, both out in this game in injury, but it came down to the last minute.
And then this game, 6 overtimes
yes, that's
for
not a
Devils
misprint.
Lake and Wapaton. That is a real thing. I guess in North Dakota they don't have a tie rule, but anyways, a 2-point game at the end. Wapaton over Devils Lake, 48-46. Then looking at Jamestown and Valley City, kind of a lopsided win there, but 42-6 in favor of Jamestown. And then Watford City and Turtle Mountain. Watford City wins that one, 27-14. Looking at some more scores, EEK over Northern Cass, 42-12. We'll have highlights of that one coming up. And then Hillsborough CV over Kindred, 32-0, a shutout win for Hillsborough. More scores, Langdon.
Battle of the Cardinals.
The battle of the, yeah, same picture there, but Langdon and EM and Carrington, 31-0. So we had shutout wins in North Dakota, and then we had some 2-point wins. It was just a crazy night. Delax Burlington over Stanley, 40-6. And some more scores. Oh, wow. Beulah over Heart River.
Beulah had their way with Heart River, no problem there. And Dickinson Trinity, another shutout. So yeah, we had a lot of big wins tonight.
Lots of action in North Dakota. Wyndmere Lidgerwood over Mayport CG, 50-19. Some high-scoring games. And then Cavalier over Nelson County, 38-8.
Yes.
Thompson and North Prairie win at it, 40-26 in favor
familiar.
of Thompson.
They played last year in the Dakota Bowl. Thompson gets the win once again, and one of your favorite towns.
My
North
favorite
Dakota.
town, Linton, North Dakota. They took the L today, though, against Napoleon Gackle Streeter. But I got to give a shout-out to the Green Lantern in Linton, North Dakota. I have been there, people. It was a random road trip with my friend Amber Heggie. But shout-out to the Green Lantern in Linton. Sorry about the loss today. All right, so now we are going to take it up to North Dakota to talk a little bit more about those highlights. So here's Jody Norstedt.
Jody, are you ready?
Are you ready?
You guys like that? I'm so prepared that I'm like Mel
do.
Kiper on the set here.
Yeah.
Going through shot sheets, scripts, all that
You're
stuff.
gonna
But
You can check your Snapchat later.
Yeah, I can do that later. How about that matchup, guys? You talked about it a little bit. You gave the final score. The last time Shanley beat Bismarck St. Mary's in high school football, I was a junior in high school. It was the opening game of the 2002 season back when they were in the 3A ranks. The Deacons won that game 24-14. The seniors on this Deacons team hadn't even made it to kindergarten yet. Saints come out rolling here. Let's take a look at these highlights at the Bismarck Community Bowl. Boy, it was a fun one. Number 1 versus number 2. We had all the hype for you on Midco Sports tonight. We aired that piece yesterday. Both these teams wanting to slug it out, see who wins. St. Mary's, of course, had won 8 straight in a row. Joey Heinert has a big gain. And then it's Cole Gendrew finding Luke Cambites, or this is Jonah Krebs rather. Then Gendrew finds his favorite target, Luke Cambites, gets things rolling. Gendrew would actually get injured in the first half, though, and would not return. Big fumble here. Shanley recovers, and then Shanley goes to work with big Caleb Chrisman. He's going to go right up the middle and watch him bowl through defenders. Boom! How about that? Delivering the boom. That's like almost me trying to make a tackle against maybe Jandy in there. Anyway, Caleb Chrisman into the end zone, 60-yard touchdown run, and the Deacons are in front. St. Mary's comes back with a little luck here on the tip. Take a look. This is down in Shanley territory. The ball up into the air, and look what I have, Ma. How about that run down the sidelines? Meandering his way And then it's Cole Gendrew, still in the game at this point. He's going to pass it to Jonah Krebs. Here it is on the rollout. Gets it to Krebs. Krebs is stripped. The ball is fumbled, but look who falls on it. Mason Spieth recovers, and the Saints are within 3 at 10-7. Saints take over again, but Cole takes a big hit. Here's where Gendrew goes down, and he is the St. Mary's X Factor, folks. So this would be a big injury. Here's the play on Gendrew. There you see, takes a big hit in the backfield, and he would not return in the game. That's Joe Cava laying the big hit. Shanley goes to work. Jacob McKeever catches it deep, and then they're going to punch it in one play later. Here comes the Deacons. It's Busek on the keeper, and that puts Shanley up in front. I believe that made it 17-7. But here comes St. Mary's, not done yet. Drew Dawson at quarterback to Luke Cambites, then going deep to Luke again. And he catches it. How about that play? That score pulls St. Mary's within 3 at 17-14. Then comes the onside kick. You need to get this one. And look at this, St. Mary's, it's first awarded to the team in blue, but then it's overturned. They say Shanley has it. The Deacons come out with the ball. Look at all the confusion on the field. But the Deacons do recover. They are able to run the clock out late on another interception, actually, in the final seconds. That was with about a minute and a half left, but St. Mary's had a shot through a late interception, and Chrisman had his second pick of the game, and boy, how about that? Shanley ends a drought. They had not beaten St. Mary's since 2002 when both teams were in Class 3A. They had not beat them since they were in 2A. Again, lost 8 straight. That streak is over. A 17-14 victory. Here are a couple of the heroes from that game.
This is the best feeling in the world. I've been here 3 years now. We've never beaten these guys, and we got them.
It just means a lot. I mean, Jake Cav over there out with a knee injury right now, and it was just good to win it for him. He's been a part of this 4 years, so it all starts up front every game. That's what we say, and it was just a great game by them, and we fed off of it on the skills positions.
How about that one for the Deacons? Let's jump to the 3A level where it was Fargo North's turn to take a crack at the unbeaten West Fargo Packers. Andy Grabdahl passed for 3 scores and rushed for another in last year's 33-zip victory over the Spartans. Good start here as he finds Jacob Fairclough, makes it 7-0. Then it's North striking back. How about this bomb to Chandler Eibach? You throw it, I'll get it. 29-yard score makes it 7-7. North thinking, hey, why not us? But here come the Packers. Grabdahl unleashes to Tanner Zepeda. West Fargo was throwing the ball all over. Nice block there, and Zepeda is free down the sidelines for the touchdown. And that, one play later, actually, he was out at the 1. Alex Sell runs it in for the score, makes a 2-point conversion. West Fargo's up 15-7 late in the second. Then it's back to the air. Grabdahl to Jacob Fairclough in a tight window. That's with 10 seconds left in the half. It's 21-7 West Fargo after the missed 2-pointer. A safety made it 23-7 West Fargo. Then Fairclough, 23-yard touchdown catch. He set the single game receptions and yards record. Fairclough was busy tonight. Tanner Zepeda. Boy, Grabdahl's arm had to be sore after this one. Hits Zepeda for the touchdown, 11 yards, makes it 29-7. And then it's going to be Joe Pistorius. Boy, yeah, even the Packer mascot could have made a catch tonight. Pistorius hauls in the 60-yarder. He flies to the 3-yard line. Grabdahl set the West Fargo single game and career pass yards records. Boy, the stats and the records were falling tonight. Jared Franick punches it in, makes it 36-7. Then Joe McIntosh, another fresh name off that Packer bench, caps off the scoring with this 65-yard burst to the end zone, makes it 42-7. And that is the final. West Fargo dominates yet another opponent, 42-7. They will play at Fargo South next week. That should be a big one against the Bruins, who have been playing pretty well as of late. North will take on Red River. Let's take a look at South in that Central team. South dropped from 3 to 5 in the latest poll after losing to Bismarck last week. The Bruins hoping a trip to Grand Forks would bring them better luck. Taking on Central, and the EDC's new leading rusher, that's Zach Murphy, a quarterback. He's averaging 131 yards per game on the ground. First play of the second, it's Murphy. Take a look at this run. This is why he's the leading EDC rusher. Look at him scoot past defenders. Oh, I can't even hit that many jukes and spins on a Madden button controller. Zach Murphy's in, 13-yard touchdown. The homecoming crowd is going nuts, followed by the Murphy thumbs up. It's a stamp of approval for number 10. Ensuing drive, though, for South. Tanner DuBois finds Tanner Beaton. This Bruins passing attack is pretty good. Tanner Beaton juggling it to himself makes it 7-7. Next possession, who's DuBois going to throw it to this time? He has a lot of weapons. This time he hits Caleb Johnson, who, if you remember, had 200 receiving yards in the opening game after coming back from an injury that he suffered last year that took him out for the whole year. And Bill Lorenz a little frustrated with the refs. Next, Fargo South possession, DuBois with a rainbow. And eventually this one's going to come down. Jamin Howard on the receiving end makes it 21-7. An equal opportunity employer is the quarterback Tanner DuBois. That's 3 different receivers for his 3 touchdowns. Tyler Kozel liking that. Next, South possession, DuBois. How about a 4th one? Dawson Weisenberger. Those are those top 4 receivers we've been talking about all year for South. They win it, but just by a little bit. They're up 28-7 at the half. Central came all the way back. South needed a touchdown pass with 11 seconds remaining to win it. So the Bruins barely scooting by the Knights tonight. The Bruins were ranked number 5 in the latest Class 3A poll. So a big 42-38 victory for them. It was homecoming at Cheyenne tonight, and the Mustangs gave their fans a shutout against the Dickinson Midgets to celebrate the evening. The Mustang defense kept the Midgets offense from advancing on the field all night. As you see all the warm-ups and the hype surrounding homecoming, always one of the best moments. And look at that. Cheyenne defense, Kobe Pearson, Bortles, Zach Rogers and company making the big stop. And then it's that offense. Parker Sander, his job is pretty easy. Hand the ball off to Jason Gallrap. He gets them close to the goal line. And then it's Nathan Goldaddy, who had such a great start on our televised game last week. Goldaddy finds the end zone again, makes it 7-0. The Mustangs recover a fumble after the punt. Goldaddy, or after the kickoff, check this out, a high drive, and nobody was there to get it for Dickinson. So the Mustangs recover their ball again. The Mustangs are going to go to the air. Parker Sander, I'm going to go pick on Caden Jastrom. Caden Jastrom is in the end zone for the touchdown, and Cheyenne extends its lead to 14-0. More Cheyenne defense here. You take a look, Dickinson trying to get something going. Dickinson, a winless year so far. They've had some tough games, and this isn't going to help. An interception by Reed Valesky, and then the Mustangs get another big stop here. Here's Dickinson airing it out, and another interception. So that defense, and now this is Reed Valesky actually with the interception and a 63-yard run down the sideline. Valesky trying to think that he's a running back here. And then you're going to see Caden Jastrom as Parker Sander scoots his way to the right, throws to Jastrom again. Boy, almost the same spot as his first touchdown. He barely gets into the end zone. That is a great catch with his heels on the end line back there, and Jastrom fired up about that. Later, it's another Cheyenne defensive play. That Mustangs defense is tough. Remember, they beat Century 16-14 in that opening game, and that's when they really got everyone's attention in the EDC and statewide. Cheyenne all of a sudden creeping up. They've won 3 straight. They win 28-0 tonight, put a licking on Dickinson, and they go up to Central next week. Dickinson, meanwhile, will take on Williston. Here's a listen in afterwards after the Cheyenne victory.
Felt pretty good. We came out strong and then pushed the momentum all the way through the game. And I owe it to the line right there. They played good, and I owe it to my receivers. I gave them a chance, and they came through.
Big night in Mandan with the opening of the new Stereon Complex. Braves hoping it will bring some luck. They've been snake bit this year. 2 overtime losses and a 7-point loss. Here's a Legacy Sabres, though, getting a good start. Jason Huckstra to Matt Kraft, who's down there, and then Huckstra drops back, fires deep. Patrick Doan inside, or that's a touchdown rather, to Kraft. Then it's Huckstra. The offense backing up. Who guessed it? Passes once again. This time that was Austin Wolf. Then Doan grabs this one out of the backfield. He's met by a swarm of Braves defenders, but Huckstra was slinging it all over the field tonight, and Legacy ends up on top in this one. 16-10 as we take a look at the scoreboard. Bismarck Legacy getting back on that winning track. See some more offensive highlights. Legacy's offense so explosive, but they were somewhat held in check again tonight. And Mandan continues to be snake bit. So it's a spoiler on their home field at the Starion Complex, the first game ever there. They've lost by 7, they've lost by 6, and 2 overtimes. They go at Minot next week. Boy, wouldn't it be something if they're able to spring that upset. Legacy, meanwhile, finally gets back on the winning track. They'll be at Bismarck next week. The defending Class A champs from Allendale Edgeley Column, fresh off a statement victory last week against Oak Grove, trying to stay perfect with a win at Northern Cass. Northern Cass forces a 3-and-out for EEK on the opening drive, and the Jags strike first. On a 4th and goal from the 5, why not roll the dice? Isaiah Aspey hits Hayden Rosfit on the slant. Huge play for the Jags, makes it 6-zip early. Allendale Edgeley Column answers through the air. With just over 3 minutes left in the first, Jacob DeWald to Philip Hagan. That's a 20-yard touchdown strike. The extra point makes it 7-6 Thunder. Next drive for the visitors, Cole Gehring is going to take the pitch on the far side and watch him gain the edge with the speed. The 12-yard touchdown run makes it 14-6 defending state champs in the driver's seat. But the home team says, wait a minute, watch this Houdini act. Freshman Colby Vanderwall is going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. He's not stopped. He is out of that pile, but he somehow squirts out, and the only one catching up to him is the cameraman. Vanderwall flashes to the end zone, and EEK's lead is cut to 14-12. All-State running back Clayton Greenack starts to find a groove from there for the Thunder. He scores a touchdown to make it 21-12, and then runs through about 5 tackles on this play for a 20-yard run. That sets up this. The handoff to Nathan Peterson, and the senior fullback rumbles in for the score. Visitors in control up 28-12 at the half. Allendale Edgeley Column salts this one away in the second half to win it, 42-12. The Thunder victory sets up a huge region matchup. Region 1 showdown with unbeaten Hillsborough Central Valley next week. Northern Cass plays at Kindred next week. Let's stay in Class A rather, and go up to Langdon, where it was an all Cardinals battle. Number 5 Carrington taking on number 4 Langdon area Edmore Munich. First quarter, Carrington getting the pressure, and they cause the fumble. Trey Rosenau recovers for Carrington. Langdon goes with the deep ball here. Jacob Delvo has been slinging it all year, finds Chase Peebles for the first down. Remember, Delvo threw for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns against Carrington last year in the playoff game. This time he's going long to 9th grader Simon Romfo to set up Langdon in the red zone. Delvo continues to spread the love. He's going to find his favorite target. Boy, these guys have been connecting so well this year. Anthony Economy in the end zone. Langdon adds 2 and leads 8-zip. Langdon finding some fireworks. How about that for small town football? So in the second quarter, they do it again. Delvo to Economy, 16-zip after another 2-pointer. To the second half we go. A little ground and pound this time for Langdon. Big Connor Tetrell. I've seen this guy play before, and he is big. He rumbles his way in. Tetrell with a great game defensively as well. Langdon now at 24-0. This one all of a sudden becoming a blowout. How about one more deep ball? Delvo, gosh, this guy has an arm. You got to think a lot of colleges are looking at him. I know he doesn't maybe have the size to play D1, but boy, he certainly has the talent. Economy is in the end zone one more time. He and Delvo connect. That was the 3rd touchdown. That puts it away. 31-0 is the score. Langdon with 355 yards of offense to Carrington's 73. Delvo 192 and 3. He also had 1 interception. Economy finishes with 5 catches, 101 yards, 3 touchdowns. Langdon Munich now in the driver's seat of Region 2 with 2 weeks left in the regular season. The quarterback is pretty excited about his team's performance.
Both sides of the football. All guys up front really dominated the line of scrimmage, which basically did it for us. Not taking up blocks for our backers to fill, creating holes for us to run, giving us time to throw. I give that game to the guys up front.
Cavalier has been number 1 all year in 9-man. They shared that spot with Wyndmere Lidgerwood this week. Tornadoes averaging 44 points per game, but taking on a Nelson County team that has won 5 straight. Nelson County and Cavalier, the Raiders and Tornadoes. Cavaliers QB Austin Erlob, he's looked good since he got back from injury. He connects with Gabe Harchie on the first play of the game. That one's a 40-yard pickup later on the drive. Erlob going to sneak it in from a yard out. Bullies his way across the goal line, spins in there. The senior making him pay, makes it 6-0. Later in the first quarter, Andre Carrier is going to intercept Hunter Sand. Sand looking deep on that play. How about that catch, though? Carrier, all I need is one hand mob. The Tornadoes pull off some trickery from there on a 4th down, and it's going to be the old fake punt. Conley Carrier hits who else? Harchie again. Boy, what a catch. High point in that ball. The drive ends with a 20-yard TD pass. Erlob to Jaden Laxdal, who filled in for Erlob well under center, and now he's catching touchdown passes from him. That extends the Tornado lead to 12-0. Fighting their way back into the game, though, are the Raiders. Hunter Sand to Jake Leininger in the second quarter. That trims the lead down to 4 after the 2-pointer, makes it 12-8. Late in the second, Erlob is going to run in his first touchdown of the night, or second touchdown of the night, as he meanders his way, cuts that run up. Third time is a charm here. Erlob is going to connect with Laxdal again on the 2-point conversion, giving the Tornadoes a 12-point lead. Cavalier up 20-8. The Tornadoes are still unbeaten. They are perfect, 38-8. They will play New Rockford Cheyenne next week. Cavalier looking pretty darn solid, guys. And that is a wrap on a big night from North Dakota. We had big wins from Shanley with the stunner. Langdon made a big statement, and Cavalier, of course, showing that they are still the class of 9-man.
A lot of impressive games.
I know you're humbled, Jody, but you called for the Thunder, didn't you?
I did. The Thunder rolled.
Nice call.
Yes, EEK rolled, and St. Mary's lost to Shanley, so I believe I get a point.
You're gaining some ground,
Gaining
Jody.
some ground.
I'm gaining ground.
Not nervous. All right. Thank you so much, Jody. When we come back, highlights from all over South Dakota. Stay right here on Varsity Sports Live.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance Agency and South Dakota State University.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live. A variety of great games across the slate in South Dakota.
It's time to get into some of the best part of the season where these teams are really ramping up for their playoff push. One of those teams, Sioux Falls, Washington. We had some questions after last week when they played a 1-point game with Rapid City Stevens, and they had some stuff to answer here against Brookings. And I'll tell you what, the first quarter, 0-0, but they had this guy, Tupac Capea, was back. He hadn't played for the last couple of weeks. He made a difference. The Brookings defense did well, but they could not shut down the passing game. Right there, Zach Hines goes up and gets one from Jaden Johansson. And Tupac, a little shiftiness, gets stuffed. Talked about that defense early on. It was huge. But finally, they get on the board with the Brock Walker 29-yard field goal. That was in the second quarter, but that would start an avalanche of scoring in that second quarter. 31 total points. Here's the first touchdown of the game. 7 yards. Jaden Johansson to UTEC. Actually, it was the second touchdown of the game. More good defensive play, this time by Washington and Jaden Johansson. Once again, running the show. This time, takes it in himself. He doesn't do that very often. But he got the 7-yard run on the touchdown there. 17-0 right now. And then look at this, a little surprise onside kick. Brock Walker. How often do you see a kicker get their own onside kick? He does that. He's a great athlete. He's done so much. And then perfect pass. Once again, Logan Utek, his second touchdown of the day. He is the all-time leading receiver in Sioux Falls, Washington history. And how about this? Their center, Will Farniak, gets a carry for a touchdown. His brothers have got to be jealous. I don't think they ever got a touchdown in their storied career at Washington. And then once again, more Logan Utek, third touchdown on the day. And the Warriors, 31-point second quarter, 20 points in the second half. Brookings played some good defense early on, but they just could not keep from the Warriors' attack. 51-0, Washington with the victory.
All right, moving on to our next game. Sioux Falls, Lincoln, and Yankton, Jandy.
Yankton is a team that has got a couple of wins this year at Lincoln, yet to win. But look at this, Hunter Merkley, 90-yard kickoff return for the touchdown. That would make it 6-3. They did not convert on the extra point. Yankton had the first points of the game with a field goal. And then the workhorse, Jesse Nelson. They only give this guy about 10 carries a game. This game they decided to load up on some Jesse Nelson, and Liam Downey kicks the field goal to end that drive, putting them up 9-3. Jared Fredenberg happy in the huddle. He's got his team up going into the second half. Then we got Terrell Eisenbraun, who finds his target. Merkley, once again, this guy's just a sophomore. Hunter Merkley, 17-yard touchdown there. They're up fairly comfortably, 16-3. But then watch out. Yankton's coming back. Garrett Tennant, their quarterback, finding some open receivers, making some hay down the field, and they would punch it in when he calls his own number, and he gets the help of about 10 Yankton Bucks on his back pushing him in, but it works. 16-10 at this point. Then just a few seconds left in the game, a double pass. They get out of bounds with 1 second left on the clock. About 25 yards to go. They need a touchdown to win this. Loft it up, knock it down, and he almost catches it with his feet.
Oh my gosh.
But he did not. Yankton comes up short on red letter days at Sioux Falls Lincoln. They win their homecoming game. First win of the year for Lincoln. First win for Jared Fredenberg. We'll hear from him later in the show, but let's hear from Jesse Nelson, their running back, who almost got 100 yards rushing tonight.
I mean, I love being the workhorse. I want to get the ball, you know, and my line was doing a great job. We kind of struggled early off in the season, but they pulled together and they were making some huge holes for me, and it was just great running through them. I think it feels really good to me personally, and I know that we're all super hyped about it. We were kind of struggling, we had our heads down, and we kind of were losing faith on the season, but this is kind of like the turning point for us, and I think we can turn this thing around.
Yeah, an exciting win for Lincoln. I mean, to get your first win of the season, first win with a new head coach in Jared Fredenberg.
Huge momentum boost like Jesse was talking about. That can really turn a season around. Now, they have a couple tough games left in their season, but 9 teams in that class, only 8 make the playoffs. They did not want to be that 9th team. This goes a long way to getting them up in the power points in the top 8.
Yeah, this could be the start of something big for Sioux Falls Lincoln, Jandy's alma mater. So
That's
how
right.
exciting. All right, moving on to our next game, Watertown at Harrisburg. This would be a good one. First quarter, a bad snap recovered by number 10 on Watertown. He returned it 47 yards for the touchdown, and it's 7-0 in favor of the Arrows.
That's Big Max Sony. He does a lot on offense and defense, and Watertown got out early in this one.
Yeah, Brennan Gabriel, 46-yard touchdown pass to number 85, Cade Cummings. He does the rest. That was 14-zip Watertown. But now looking to the second quarter, Harrisburg's number 30, Jack Anderson, a 37-yard touchdown run to get his team on the board.
That's
just
vintage.
taking everyone with him.
That's vintage Jack Anderson running, hair flowing, just violently running. This and then a block punt to really get things going their way. Sam Lose recovers.
He does, and then it will be 14-14, all tied up, Watertown and Harrisburg. But watch this. A 1-yard touchdown run by Troy Kinect. Excuse me, that one tied up at 14-14. And then number 15, a 38-yard touchdown pass, number 46, Sam Lose. And it's 21-14 in favor of Harrisburg.
Finally getting some confidence with their quarterback, Troy Kinect, who's been filling in for Hunter Headley since breaking his collarbone. And then a pick 6 by Logan Warzeka to seal the deal. 31-17 lead at that point in the game. And a huge win for the Harrisburg Tigers, who are coming off of almost losing a to-be-continued game against Pierre, and then losing last week and losing against Douglas. They really needed a big win, and they came through in a big way in the second half.
Yeah, you talk about momentum in football. They needed that one, especially after losing Hunter Headley. All right, moving on to our next game. It's Dell Rapids at T for their homecoming, which adds a little bit extra excitement to an already big matchup. Here's Matt Glugly running out of the tunnel. He would have a big night getting the opening score for Dell Rapids. He runs it in after Dell chips away the yardage with a series of run-only plays, and the extra point would be good on that one. 7-0 Dell. And later, a little bit later, it would be number 46, Seth Spielman. Add 6. Oh, there's the extra point.
There's the extra point. This Dell Rapids team, by the way, had come out with 4 straight victories after losing their first game of the year to Dakota Valley. And I'll tell you what, there's Mr. Spielman running it in to go up 14-0 for Dell Rapids.
Now on that touchdown, Kyle Stenicky would be injured. He was carted off, but we hope the best for him. That would be the final touchdown of the half. Dells would lead 14-0, but now some halftime adjustments made for T, who came out with a better defensive plan that wouldn't stop Spielman though. Look at this nice run to set the Couriers up for this. Jeffrey Shook gets a nice grab in the corner of the end zone. Dell's up 21-0 at that point, but watch this. T would make noise on the very next kickoff. An exciting run.
Yep, their playmaker.
Their playmaker, Carter Slykehouse. Watch this. Goes 72 yards. I don't want to spoil it for
Right
you,
up the
but
middle,
72 yards right up the middle for the score. Now, get this, the Titans would miss the extra point, and that would actually be the final score of the night. Del Rapids improves to 5-1 on the season with their 21-6 victory over T area.
How about that? Matt Galugli and company, Carson Wentz throwing the ball well, but the Warrior defense showing up and shutting down the T area Titans to 6 points. That is the story of this game. Now the Warriors 5-1. You got to seriously think about the Warriors as a number 2 team in the state right now.
Oh, they're impressive. All right, looking at our next game, Sioux Valley at McCook Central Montrose. It's an exciting one here. But to start off the game, number 8, Damian Lucas, a touchdown run right up the middle, puts Sioux Valley up 7-0. And this would be a physical game, Jandy.
This is a very physical team in Sioux Valley, but McCook Central, known for their physicality as well. You see Paul Locke running, and look at it, it takes the whole team to bring him down. And McCook Central and the Fighting Cougars trying to stay undefeated in this one. Hard to see, there's such a dark field, but there where the lights turned on, Paul Locke with the touchdown run. It's 7-7 early.
But then Sioux Valley would take over.
Yeah, it's time for them to start rocking.
All right, watch this. Tyler Schwartz, a big run for Sioux Valley. Missed ankle tackle there, and then he just tiptoes up the sidelines, cuts it back in. A big run for him.
They got a lot of different backs they can give the ball to. We saw Damian Lucas, you saw Tyler Schwartz right there, and then here's Dalton Hansen punching it in for the touchdown.
Yeah, impressive. Sioux Valley's up 14-7 after that, but then Damian Lucas would seal the game. A huge touchdown run here. Watch him go.
You can't stop Damian Lucas. This guy averages over 200 yards a week. Last week went over 271, got the varsity game ball on Midco Sports tonight, and this week leads his team to an undefeated start of the season and beating the Fighting Cougars, giving them their first loss of the year.
Varsity game ball, that's a big award, Jandy. That's prestigious. All right, looking at our next game, O'Gorman and Roosevelt.
He was not in this game. He had had an injury in his foot, and it really would affect their electricity, and right away you could see this was going to be a really grinded out type of game. A lot of grittiness and not a lot of yards in the first half of this game. Here's Carter Lohr, who looks downfield and dumps it at the last second, finds the receiver downfield, and wouldn't come away with points. They did have a couple field goals in this one early, 6-0, but Max Tibbetts gets the first touchdown of the game, putting O'Gorman up 7-6 in this one, and that's the way he would stay in the entire first half. But things got exciting in the second half. The defense was all over Isaac Struck, and we kind of talked about this. DeMario Hester putting the pressure on the defense, and they would end up getting a safety to go up in this game. I believe the score at that point was 8-7, and then O'Gorman trying to come back in this one, but Nick Hoekstra putting a stop to that. He is rumbling, bumbling, stumbling into the end zone. 15-7, Roosevelt in control of this one. But in the fourth quarter, things got crazy. Nick Billion caught a big pass. O'Gorman had a field goal. Hoekstra had another touchdown, his third of the night. They were up 29-17, but then Zach Norton hit a 50-yard touchdown to bring O'Gorman within 5. They recovered the onside kick, but could not quite make it work to take the entire comeback. A couple injuries in this game. Nathan Barnes was knocked off the field a couple times for Roosevelt. Evan Witchery came out of the game in the first half for the O'Gorman Knights, did not return. And as we talked about, Kenyon Bauer did not play in this one.
And I picked the Riders in this one.
And you
so
picked the
Jandy,
Riders.
I'm up another point.
So,
nevertheless, a great battle, a 41st Street battle. All right, our next game, the Brandon Valley Lynx took on Rapid City Stevens at Dunham Field at O'Hara Stadium in Rapid City. Strong wins in this one, but Brandon Valley benefited early in the Stevens pass attempts, and a penalty forced them to kick from their own end zone. The ball was partially blocked, and Brandon Valley had control at the 3. But 2 plays later, Braden Peterson punching it in, and the Lynx are up 7-0. But Stevens would go to their running game in this one.
They would go to their running game often with Braden Peterson. You saw him get a touchdown there. He's gotten, I think, 14 on the year, but Stevens has a little running game themselves.
Yeah, Ruger Sartorius earned some tough yards. The Stevens had to turn the ball back over to Brandon Valley. Wasted no time with a pass from Thomas Schulten to 36 Cade Trevor, who took it down to the 10 and would set up the Lynx for a field goal. This right here would put them up 10-0.
Low scoring to start this one off. Big plays on both sides of the field. There's one pass you see from Tegan Heckler, who gets it out to his playmaker. I believe that's Cody Bevere.
It is Cody Bevere running, but Stevens just couldn't put a drive together. Even when Brandon Valley kicked into the wind, the ball just kind of died. Took a Stevens bounce. And the Raiders were shut down. Look at that. That had to be some nasty wind out there.
You get a return on the punt without even recovering the punt.
Oh my gosh.
That's got to be rough. And the wind does mean so much for both of these teams, especially the Stevens Raiders, who love to throw the ball. But you can run the ball in the wind. Brandon Valley proved that. Braden Peterson, maybe the best running back in the state right now.
He is. He took it on the next play. Watch this. He sets up the big run there. But then look at this. Punches it in.
Great blocking.
Great blocking by the Lynx. And the Lynx are up 17-0 in the second quarter. Rapid City would score right before the end of the half, but Brandon Valley runs away with this one 30-14 in favor of the Lynx.
The key to this game, 5 interceptions thrown by the Raiders, 5 picks for the Lynx. Big night defensively for Brandon Valley.
All right, a lot of exciting action in South Dakota. But when we come back, we're going to hear from some of the coaches around the Dakotas what they had to say about their teams tonight. Stay right here. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live. It's time for zone coverage where we get reaction from around the Dakotas for all of the games. So let's start in North Dakota with Jody Norstedt. What do we have going on?
Yeah, guys, big injuries tonight for St. Mary's, Cole Gendrew, and for Shanley's Jake Cava, and that was the big rivalry. All the spotlight was on that. Shanley wins 17-14, snaps that 8-game losing streak to St. Mary's, and now will be the new #1. Troy Mattern, his first time as head coach in this series. By the way, Matt Moschenbacher with 2 interceptions. He had the game-clinching interception. But Troy Mattern, first time as part of this rivalry, he gets the win.
You know, we knew it was going to be a playoff game, playoff atmosphere, and I couldn't be more proud of the way our kids responded. You know, we haven't been in a game like that all season, and for our kids to come on the road and beat the best team in the state, it's obviously a great feeling for our program. You know, it was a defensive struggle all night on both sides of the ball. The defenses were just awesome on both sides of the ball. St. Mary's took a lot away from us, credit to them. We really struggled moving the ball, and then when Jake went out, it kind of took the air out of our sails, but our kids responded second half. We made enough plays to win the game.
You can watch Shanley versus Valley City live on Midco Sports Network on next Friday. Trinity had a big 33-0 win over Killdeer. They are still only with 1 loss on the season. Here's Parker Cotton with a wrap-up of that game.
This is Parker Cotton from the Dickinson Press. I just got back from Dickinson Trinity at Killdeer. There wasn't a whole lot for the Cowboys to write home about in this game. Trinity junior Caden Kuntz took an interception return back for a touchdown on the game's opening drive, and that would be all about Trinity would need in what would become a 33-0 win for the Titans. Eric Knopick had 1 passing touchdown to Noah Sickler for about 30 yards. He added a rushing touchdown on the ground for about 25 more. Killdeer was pretty sloppy on special teams all game long, and Trinity was pretty opportunistic in turning those into points and making them pay for it. Trinity's big front line, Isaac Friedrich, Jacob Kubis, and Elijah Karski made life really difficult for the Cowboys, and they just didn't really have an answer for them.
So Trinity is now 5-1 on the year. Big one tomorrow, #4 Minot at #2 Century. That'll be interesting to see who rises above the rest in the WDA, guys.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. But now, taking it down to South Dakota, we talked about Troy Mattern in North Dakota getting his first win, but Jared Fredenberg for the Lincoln Patriots got his first win of the season, and as a head coach over Yankton. Let's hear from him.
The kids believed that they could do it. The defensive guys were on the bench going, we got it. We can get it. We'll get the ball back, and they're telling the offense, don't worry about it, we got it. And so the defense really played well. I'm so happy for the kids. They've been working their tails off, and for them to finally get a win it's everything to them.
Yeah, it means everything to them. Great job by Jared Fredenberg. Future looks bright for Lincoln. We have also talked to, I believe we've got Harrisburg coming up next. Is that right? we've got Harrisburg, Brandon White, who gets a big win this week against Watertown.
Very tough mentally, physically, obviously, playing 2.5, having to prep almost 3 different times. We haven't had a padded practice since last week. That's part of it, but our kids responded and competed very well. I thought their preparation was outstanding. I thought, was a little skeptical on, how 2 days of planning was going to be, but they handled it outstanding, and I couldn't be more proud of this group. I thought we did a great job of executing kind of a new system with a backup quarterback and some new guys getting in there. When we get healthy, I think the sky's the limit for this group.
Great win for Harrisburg. That was their 3rd partial game in the last 7 days. He was talking about the mental fortitude that took. Good job to Harrisburg.
Yeah, impressive by the Tigers. Moving on to our next game, we had Dell Rapids over T, a ranked battle. And we got to hear from head coach Steve Hansen for Dell Rapids.
We lost that first game of the year, and I think our kids kind of realized we got to go to work. And I feel like we've gotten better every week, which is our goal, is to get better every week. We come in here, T was undefeated. They're coming off a state championship game last year, a lot of momentum. And we knew it was going to be a big challenge. We knew they're a good team, they're an explosive team. And our kids came and they responded. We wanted to make it a physical game, and I thought offensively we did that, and defensively I thought our defense did a great job. We challenged them coming in that we're not going to do anything fancy. We're just going to go play some smash mouth football, and we challenged our offensive line, and they stepped up. And we lost a good lineman of ours tonight, and hopefully he's all right. But we had a kid come off the bench and play great for us. And so I think just character, the character that we'd want them to have, they're showing it, and they keep improving.
Great job by Dell Rapids. They played a very physical game. It cost them 1 lineman, like he said. We'll check on him. But the game of the night, number 2 versus number 3 in 11 AAA, Roosevelt found a way to get the win. Let's hear from the Riders.
Finally ran out on this one. It was a really good defensive game for us until the 4th quarter. We kind of gave up some big plays in the air. But made some plays at the end to finish the job. Our offense finally woke up a little bit, and Nick Hoekstra scored some big touchdowns for us in the 4th quarter.
All right, lots of happy coaches.
That's why you have Nick Hoekstra. Score 4th quarter touchdowns.
All right, well, when we come back, we will have the rundown here on Varsity Sports Live. Stay tuned.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance Agency and South Dakota State University.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live. It's time for the rundown, a big play from each of our games tonight, and we'll start in North Dakota, Jandy.
This has been a lot of fun. Let's get it started. The big game in 2A. Shanley found a way to beat St. Mary's, something they haven't done for a long time. First win in this rivalry for Troy Matter.
3-point win for Shanley, 70-14 for St. Mary's.
How about these West Fargo Packers? I don't think anybody's going to stop them. Another huge night. They decided to throw the ball all over the place tonight.
Andy Grabdahl, very impressive through the air, 42-7 for West Fargo.
Fargo South probably a little closer than they wanted to be, but Zach Murphy ran the ball well for Grand Forks Central, but the Tanners get it done.
42-38.
Dickinson and West Fargo Cheyenne, great defensive performance tonight. Here's one great defensive play by the Mustangs.
Cheyenne with the shutout, 28-0 over Dickinson.
And how about Legacy and Mandan? Mandan, a team that is just close but can't quite get a big W.
A one-score game in this one. Legacy 16-10 over Mandan.
Cardinals versus Cardinals. I have a feeling the Cardinals are going to win.
The Cardinals did win, 31-0.
And how about South Dakota scores? Brookings did not put up a point on Sioux Falls, Washington. Big night for them.
51-0.
This one went all the way down to the 4th quarter, just like I said it would. I just had the wrong team. Roosevelt pulls out the 29-24 victory. Another ranked battle here. This one in Rapid City. Brandon Valley's Braden Peterson put on a show.
30-14 in favor of the Lynx.
Then we've got the Sioux Falls Lincoln Patriots getting their first win of the season. Congratulations on homecoming.
Yeah, congratulations to Jared Fredenberg, 16-10.
And Troy Connect gets his first victory as a backup quarterback. First full game victory over Watertown.
Tigers over the Arrows.
And Dell Rapids beats the previously undefeated T-Area Titans, although Carter Slykehouse gets the touchdown here. It was Dell Rapids night. They did a great job defensively.
All right, and then Sioux Valley and McCook Central Montrose.
The Cossacks stay undefeated. Both teams came into the game with no losses, and McCook Central Montrose suffers their first of the year. A very physical game, but the Cossacks looking really good in 11B.
I'm just thankful we didn't have any weather delays tonight.
We didn't. That's the first time we've done a show together with no weather delays this year. This has been a lot of fun, Kelly.
Luck. It has been fun. You never know when I'm going to appear on here. But anyways, thanks for watching Varsity Sports Live. We'll have updates for you next week on Midco Sports Tonight. See you again next Friday.